She stood at the side of the stage, her small hands trembling, her heart beating so loudly she could hear it in her ears. All she could see were the giant lights, the huge crowd and the judges waiting for her to step forward. She had imagined this moment since she was a little girl, sitting in front of a broken TV in the Philippines, watching singers rise from nothing. Now she was here and nothing felt real. When she finally walked out, the room went quiet. She looked so young, so nervous, but her eyes carried something stronger than fear. Simon Cowell leaned forward, curious. He didn't know her life. He didn't know the nights she cried herself to sleep, because her family couldn't afford rice. He didn't know she learned to sing not from teachers, but from YouTube videos played on a cracked phone that barely charged. All he saw was a shy Filipino girl, standing under the brightest lights she had ever seen. When they asked her why she came to AGT, she took a breath deep enough to steady the storm in her chest, and said, "Being Filipino is my superpower." The words were simple, but they carried the entire weight of her journey. The audience reacted with a small cheer, not knowing what she had lived through just to stand there. She remembered waking up before sunrise to help her mother sell vegetables at the market. She remembered singing to distract herself from the heat, the noise, and the fatigue. Sometimes people would stop and listen, smiling at her voice. Even when she was too young to understand what talent meant, singing became her escape, the one thing that made her feel powerful, even when life kept reminding her how powerless she was. When her father lost his job, everything became harder. Their electricity was cut off more than once, and she did her homework using the light from a small candle. Her parents fought quietly at night, trying not to wake her, but she heard everything. She promised herself that someday she would make enough money so they would never cry again. She didn't know how, she just knew she would. She kept singing everywhere, at school events, at local fiestas, even at the karaoke machine outside their neighbor's house. People said she had a gift. She didn't believe them. She didn't think someone like her could ever reach a stage as big as AGT. But her mother believed she saved coins for months, skipping meals sometimes just so they could get a temporary visa and a cheap ticket to Los Angeles. Her mother told her, "If the world hears your voice once, your life will never be the same." That sentence became her courage. Back on stage, she nodded at the sound crew. The music began softly. Her first note was shaky, too soft, too nervous, but then she remembered every sacrifice, every hunger, every night she prayed for a miracle. Something inside her opened. Her voice grew, her fear fell. She closed her eyes and let her entire life story pour through her voice. The audience froze, the judges stared. Something about the way she sang felt raw, honest, painful, and powerful at the same time. She didn't just hit notes. She hit hearts. Her voice climbed higher, stronger, until even the people in the back row leaned forward. Without realizing it, Simon's eyes widened. Heidi covered her mouth. Sophia looked stunned. How could such a small, shy girl produce something so big? Then came the moment that changed everything. On her final note, a long, soaring, perfect note, the entire theater rose to its feet. The applause shook the room. She opened her eyes and saw everyone standing, cheering, screaming. She didn't understand at first. She had never seen so many people cheering for her. She looked at the judges and saw Simon standing too, something he barely ever does. When the crowd finally quieted, Simon looked directly at her. He didn't speak for a few seconds. He didn't need to. His face said everything. When he finally talked, his voice was softer than usual. He told her he hadn't expected that voice, that emotion, that depth. He said she reminded him why AGT existed, to find incredible talent in the most unexpected places. Before she could even process his words, Heidi pressed the golden buzzer. The sound exploded around her. Gold confetti rained from the ceiling like a miracle. Falling straight into her hands, she broke down crying. Her mother rushed onto the stage and held her tight, the way she used to when they were struggling back home. The audience cheered louder, and the judges smiled as if they had just witnessed history. She looked up at the falling confetti and felt her entire life shift in one moment. She wasn't just a poor girl selling vegetables anymore. She wasn't just a voice hidden in a small Filipino town. She was someone the world had finally heard, someone the world couldn't ignore, someone who proved that being Filipino wasn't just her identity, it truly was her superpower. And as she walked off the AGT stage, she didn't walk like a contestant. She walked like someone whose future had finally opened wide. Bright and unstoppable, her life had just changed forever.